Greetings, gamers. Tim here again, and I'm talking about the day 13 of the RPG a Day sort of challenge that I've been doing. Now, most memorable character death is kind of hard for me because I've not had that many deaths over the 30 odd years of gaming that I've done. I've had, a reasonable number, but none of them were particularly memorable. They were usually bad die rolls at the wrong time against the wrong opponent. Now, there was one memorable one that was quite interesting. We were playing somebody's homebrew D&D setting for AD&D 2nd Edition, and I was playing an elf knight. And I was the tactical leader of the group, but not the overall leader of the group. We had a wizard who was more of the front man for that group, and he was the one who tended to decide where we were going and what we were doing within reason. Now, my elf was a warrior knight. He fought on horseback normally, but we managed to force the dragon to the ground, and the terrain was too rough fundamentally for me to fight it on horseback. So I ended up having to go sword to maw with the dragon. Now, never mind that we had 2 clerics, a rogue, another fighter, and me on top of the wizard. But it was almost a party wipe. In fact, I was the second to last to go down. Right after me was the wizard, because he stayed as far out of range as possible. And then the last survivor was one of the clerics. I think he was, the way the GM did it, he was the cleric of a monotheistic god. I think both of them were. Because I don't think there were many gods in this setting. It was very sort of pseudo-medieval with D&D elements kind of ladled on top. My elf was kind of an outsider, very rare, very unusual. They came from fairy. They lived sideways from everybody else, so it was unusual for to have one in the party, but the GM allowed one, and I just happened to be the one who got lucky and said I wanted to do it early enough to get away with it. But we died. But we managed to do enough damage to slow the dragon down enough that when that last cleric was the last one standing, he managed to take out that dragon. I've had some epic fights that come very close to similar deaths, but the player character did not die. They got really close, they got into the negative hit points, and we were using the negative hit point rule. But this one went way beyond that in his battle against the blue dragon. It was a fun game. I remember that character fondly. I can remember some other characters that have died. Usually, as I said, bad rolls, unlucky events, nothing really epic about them. But that dragon fight was one of them. A couple of them were just DMs being, not quite rocks fall, everybody dies, but more like rocks fall, your PC dies, because I don't particularly like what he's doing. In that case, that less memorable character death that I had was one where the GM's wife was the lead player character, if you've ever played those kinds of games. And it's one of the reasons why when I played and had a wife, or when I played and had a girlfriend, I treated them like every other player. That may be why I'm single now, but one of the things is, it's a game that I feel I should be equitable to everybody in. I should treat them as if they are all the important characters, just as important as any other single PC that I'm dealing with. But that's a different story. But the Elven Knight against the Blue Dragon was one of my most favorite epic deaths. And, he died doing what he was meant to do. He died defending humans who were afraid of him, fundamentally. So in the end, I think that impacted the world. I don't know that it did, because shortly after that, the GM and I both graduated high school and went our separate ways, because this was very shortly after 2nd edition came out. But it was a fun game while it lasted. Anyway, thanks for listening. Enjoy. Have a nice evening. For those of you going to Gen Con, you bastards, not really. I hope you really have fun and pick up a lot of cool swag and meet some of your gaming idols who have gone to Gen Con as well. Just rock on, guys. Have fun. Enjoy yourselves.